Freedom is coming, freedom is coming, freedom is coming, oh yes I know. Freedom is coming, freedom is coming, freedom is coming, oh yes I know. Freedom is coming, freedom is coming, freedom is coming, oh yes I know. Freedom is coming, freedom is coming, freedom is coming, oh yes I know. Freedom is coming, freedom is coming, freedom is coming, oh yes I know.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Bazell, and I serve on the Board of Trustees. Today is Sunday, September 24th. Whether this is your first time here or part of your regular routine, you are welcome here. UUCA is a place where people of all ages, races, faiths, sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and disabilities, both seen and unseen, are welcome. At UUCA, we come for community, find inspiration, and live with purpose. In addition to the social justice fair, which is in the back, there is also an opportunity for you to take part in the important work that they are doing. The Racial Justice Task Force is creating a timeline to capture UUCA's history of actions and activities, both positive and challenging, in the often murky waters of racial justice. Today, the timeline is located on a wall in the Reeb Center, and that's this way. It will be posted from September 24th to October 8th. Please take time to visit the timeline and add your thoughts about our community's racial history. They want to capture the various achievements, harm, milestones, and bumpy spots in our anti-racism journey. The RJTF hopes you share the task force's enthusiasm for this project and thanks you for your commitment to our racial and social justice efforts. I'm also really excited to remind you, or tell you, about next week's service. It will include a pet blessing. We invite your animals to participate, either at the 9:15 service with stuffed animals or pictures of your live pets, or at the 11:15 service with live friends and animals, aged. Of course, they will be caged, oops, sorry, I missed the C, and leashed, of course. Thank you for showing up for our important work together and for the fun.
Live animals, caged and leashed. I will not be here next Sunday because my sabbatical is about to begin, but I am going to watch that service because the idea of caged and leashed live animals in this setting, how could you not watch that, right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Sunday. We are here. We are home. We are happy to be in our home place. Please take a moment to rise, embody your spirit, greet each other, say hello to someone you know, and make a new friend. Good morning, Betty. Hi, guys. Hi, Steve. Somebody new, or at least said hello and gave a hug to someone you knew already. Let's continue that after the service when we have fellowship time, and you can go to the Social Justice Fair. It is Sunday and good to be here. Our call to worship this morning is called Life is Always Unfinished Business. In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause. Pause here for a moment. Catch your breath, relax your body, loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always going to be unfinished business. Imagine the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are people in process. There is always going to be more that needs to be done. Don't let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Don't despair that imperfection marks your every single day. Don't fear that you are still in the making. Instead, let us be grateful that the world is still ours to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are today, tomorrow. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete. Remember, life is always unfinished business, and that is perfectly okay.
Good morning, UUCA.
Not yet.
I'm so happy to be with you. It's my first morning with you all, and it is my pleasure to invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1018, Come and Go With Me to That Land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There will be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There will be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land. There will be justice in that land where I'm bound. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land. There will be singing in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. There will be with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Well, that'll do.
So we got ahead of ourselves. I think we need to light the chalice. We might want to talk about compassion, and then we will have the rest of our service. Wendy, if you please.
Why, thank you, Rep. CTC. Good morning. Each week we light our candle of compassion for those who are suffering in our community and around the world. And today, what's on my heart are the wars in Europe and Africa, the famines that are occurring, the inhospitable responses to people that are different from each other, LGBTQIA community, immigrants, and all of this being exacerbated by climate change. And so we light our candle of compassion for this increasing issue. And now we will light our chalice. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. Please join me. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
So I think we'll go back on script. That means it's time for our wisdom lesson. Will the young and the young at heart please come forward and join me for a story? Come on up. Hey guys. So I'm going to tell you a story, and you all can listen in too. And then there's going to be a bit of participation asked for. This is called The Bundle of Sticks. There's a father who had a family of sons that were forever quarreling among themselves. No words he could say did much good. He cast about in his mind for a striking example that would make them see that discord leads to misfortune. So he wanted them to learn to work together. One day, the boys had been quarreling much more than usual. Each one of the sons was moping around in a surly manner. He asked one of them to bring him a bundle of sticks. Then he handed the bundle to each one of his sons in turn, and he asked them to try and break it. And they tried their best. Let's see what happens. Can you break this? Don't try too hard. No, you couldn't break it. Okay, can you try? Oh, one piece broke. Okay, that's enough. They're dry sticks. Okay, would you try, please? It's just too, not with your knee, no. So I picked these up before it rained. They're very dry. Okay. They tried with all their might, but none of them was able to do so. Then the father untied the bundle, and he gave the sticks to his sons. There should be some daughters in here, don't you think so? He gave the sticks to his sons and daughters, one by one, and he asked them to try and break them. Yeah. Oh, it's easy to break one, isn't it? Oh, you are strong. Thank you very much. So if you break a single stick, not so hard. Oh, double break here, show off. No, you got to break it now. I said double. Oh, there you go. Good job. So when they tried to break the big bundle of sticks, they couldn't. And it's really simple why they can't. There is strength in unity. Can you repeat that back to me? Strength in unity. One more time. Strength in unity. So the moral of the story is this: when you want to help people, one at a time, you can make a difference. But if you all bind yourselves together, what happens? Can you break it? No, you can't. Because there's what? Strength in unity. The father said to his sons, and I'll add a daughter because there should be daughters too, do you not see how certain it is that if you agree with one another, if you help each other, it is impossible for you to be divided? If you make yourselves into a bundle instead of an individual, unity will give you strength. How's that sound to you guys? Working together? Yeah? Binding yourselves together instead of working on your own? Do you think you can do that? Okay. Thank you all for listening. We're going to sing these folks out. Jen's going to play and we're going to sing. Peace to you on your way. Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day.
Meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of world you will find. To the wonders of the world you will find.
Unity provides strength. This service today is really focused on social justice and on finding ways to give back. We give here at this church. We give our time, we give our talent, we give our treasure. This is a community that gives. This is a place that wants to help. UUCA is not here to offer respite from the world. No. Instead, we look our troubled world straight in the eye and then try to face and fight the problems that are around us. We want to truly see those who are in need. We want to tell them, we got you. We are here for you. We are here to help all of those who are worried about where their next meal is coming from, all of those who are struggling to make sure they have reproductive rights, all of those who are desperately seeking their own home place, all of those who are worried about the future of our planet and the ongoing climate crisis, and all of those seeking an end to racism, who are wishing for equality, who are praying for more justice in their lives on a daily basis. Now, I could stand here and talk to you all about this for a long time because it's my jam. Justice is my jam. Helping you all move to a place of being a justice-seeking minded people is exactly why I am here in this moment of time. But it's not just my words that you need to hear. This morning I've asked three of you, to come forward and talk about things that matter to them, that are willing to share story about things that matter to them. I often say to you, and I believe this with all my heart, that we are connected by our stories. They bond us together, they help us learn, they pull us deeper into community. So that's exactly what three people have graciously agreed to do this morning, is to talk story to you about something that matters to them, and hopefully to inspire you so that it matters to you, and you take a step to do more justice work in the world, to help people who are hungry in our world, and to remember to vote early or to go vote in November. I think that's all I'll say about that because they have a lot of good things to share with you. Please listen deeply, take notes if you want to, and when they're finished talking, take your energy out into Fellowship Hall, to the Social Justice Fair. We have a number of groups here at UUCA that are working diligently to change the world. It's that simple. They are working every single day in some way, shape, or form to change the world. Today, they have set up their tables and want to talk to you about how you can be included in that work. And this is for you folks who are online too. If you go to our website, there's information about how these groups are helping to change the world, and you can tap into how they are doing that, because everybody needs to help for it to work. The stick story, there's strength in unity. Can you say that back at me again? There's strength in unity.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón, cántale tu compasión, sopla al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. I'm Susan Chastain, and I don't need to tell you the Virginia legislative elections are pivotal and will impact issues we care about as UUs: racial, climate, reproductive justice, you name it, pretty much all of the issues we care about. In this election, all 140 seats in both chambers are up for grabs due to redistricting. Democrats hold a slim majority in the Senate, Republicans in the House. Enough seats are competitive to make control of each chamber close. And some of you may remember that in Virginia, control of a chamber has been determined by one vote in one district. Every vote is important, and voter mobilization is key. Raising and protecting UU values in our community is a reason I volunteer with UU The Vote to mobilize voters for this election. And why I work with UUs for social justice to raise UU values in Congress. I believe democracy is not a spectator sport. We participate or we lose. And another reason I do democracy work is for myself. There is so much suffering, so many crises in the news, in my community. I can feel overwhelmed and discouraged. I find if I can take a concrete, positive action, even if it's small, I feel better, more hopeful. So I'd like to mention 4 things you can do to support democracy in our community. First, you can do postcarding with UU The Vote. We are partnering with a grassroots organization to mobilize voters of color in key races by sending postcards to encourage early voting. Writing postcards is easy, and research has shown that it does make a difference in our close races. Second, the weekend before the election, you can do canvassing to get out the vote in a key election with Voice, the Virginians organized for interfaith community engagement. You will be canvassing with folks from religious institutions from all over the region to raise our common values in this election. Third, you can vote and encourage your family and friends to vote now. Early voting in Virginia started last Friday. Sometimes we plan to vote closer to the election, but life happens. We get sick. There's an emergency. Just do it now while you can. It's fast, it's easy. Encourage your friends and families to do so. You can find information from your elections offices online or at the UU The Vote table in the back. Learn how you can help UUs for social justice to raise our voices in Congress. Come to an advocacy conference next week and advocate for smart climate provisions in the Farm Bill currently before Congress. So I hope you will join us at our social justice fair after the service, or if you're online, on our website or our Connections newspaper to learn more about how you can take even small actions to protect and further our UU values in our communities. As the story said, there is strength in unity. Thank you.
I said earlier that this is a community that gives, and I used the words time, talent, and treasure. UUCA is a congregation that shares its plate every single Sunday. 70% of it goes to an organization that shares our values, that's working to make the world a better place. 30% of it comes back to the congregation so we can continue to do good work in the world. This month, in the month of September, we're sharing our offering with the Guatemalan Scholarship Partners. This is a joint UUCA project that was started in 2009 and works with a Mayan human rights organization called Adivima. The church project supports 52 Mayan middle and high school students. Because Guatemalan public education ends in the 6th grade, many Mayan men go to work in the fields. The young women often marry because they're not supported to continue their education and go to school. Adivima supports the students as they attend school. It provides tuition, it provides food, it provides transportation, the basic necessities one needs to be ready to go to school. During COVID, they also provided cell phones and computers because schools were closed. 2/3 of these students are girls. There were 14 students this year that graduated from the program with degrees in accounting, business administration, computer science, and education. Human rights are under attack all across the globe. Activists are continuing to be injured or outright killed. This program helps support young people who will be the leaders of tomorrow. It directly is supporting the young folks in the Mayan community to become that next generation of folks who are then going to work to change the world. Will the ushers please collect an offering? We have many blessings at this congregation. One of them is music. Today, it is my great pleasure to welcome our new interim music director to the sanctuary. Jen is here. She has got the choir in splendid. After just a few rehearsals, as you can hear, our choir is in splendid voice, and we're hoping she'll stay longer than a year. But that remains to be seen. Welcome, Jen. Welcome. Would you please bring the offering forward? Being in the building on Thursdays when the choir is rehearsing is magical. It truly is. Thank you. Please join me in the words to bless our offering. We gather together. No, that's not right. That's not right. That's the chalice lighting. Oh, wait, here it is. Rewind. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Please join me. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture our congregation. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Burke Kapler, and I wear multiple hats here at UUCA. One hat I wear is to serve as the liaison between UUCA and AFAC, the Arlington Food Assistance Center. I think that's why RevCTC asked me here today to talk about food insecurity. Well, what is food insecurity? According to the USDA, food insecurity occurs when households are uncertain of having or are unable to acquire at some time during the year enough food to meet all the needs of their members because they had insufficient money or resources. In more simple language, food insecurity means that for some families, someone is going hungry at some point each year. And so while I'm going to use the term food insecurity, you can translate this in your head to something more direct. Food insecurity equals hunger. Food insecurity is a problem with lifelong impacts. For children, it can lead to behavioral issues, cognitive deficits, and poorer health outcomes. For adults, food insecurity can lead to chronic diseases like diabetes and hypertension, as well as mental health concerns and the stress that comes from knowing you can't put enough food on the table. How prevalent is food insecurity? Well, it depends on where you live and who you are. A recent Urban Institute study found that 7.1% of Arlington residents, or 16,670 people, were food insecure. But this number also varies by neighborhood. Some neighborhoods have 0% food insecurity, but the two Arlington neighborhoods with the most have double that rate. They are Glen Carlin at the end of Columbia Pike and Buckingham, both of which have more than 14% food insecurity for their residents. Buckingham is, of course, right behind me across Route 50 from this church. Other neighborhoods experiencing high rates of food insecurity are Pentagon City, Crystal City, and Forest Glen, Arlington Mill. Not surprisingly, food insecurity also tracks to demographics, with Black, Hispanic, and Latino residents experiencing higher rates of food insecurity and as a result requiring more support and assistance from SNAP, AFAC, or other social service providers. Why is there food insecurity? It's a combination of factors. Since we're talking about food, you could think of it like a recipe. First, you start with a healthy dose of poverty. 6.2% of Arlington households, or about 6,900 households, live below the poverty line and simply don't have the wages to provide adequate resources. As a note, in 2021, Virginia raised the minimum wage to $11 an hour, but that's still less than $23,000 a year, and that is not a lot of money to put food on the table. Then stir in the high cost of housing. 39% of households in Arlington are rent overburdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on rent, and that doesn't leave a lot of room. Mix with overall inflation. By one measure, the cost for food at home goods increased 12% from 2021 to 2022. That's an unprecedented increase. And it's important to note that inflation hits everybody. Even as groceries get more expensive for families, they get more expensive for AFAC and other providers. In an inflationary world, everyone gets stretched. Finally, top with a pandemic, which exacerbated all of these issues and placed additional stresses on low-income households. Many workers saw their jobs eliminated or their hours reduced, leading to even tighter belts. What can I or what can you do? Well, the good news, and this is good news, is that food insecurity has been recognized as a problem, and people are moving to address it. Arlington County has created a food security task force that has developed a multifaceted strategic plan. If you're interested, I urge you to go to the county's website and Google it. Just look for food assistance, and it gives a lot of ways that Arlington residents can pitch in. For example, you can get on a food assistance newsletter, and you can join the Food Security Coalition. The next meeting is actually on October 1st, and there's a lot of ways to volunteer. But actually, what I liked about this report is that it lists a number of steps that the county has taken, and it identifies those organizations, both local government and nonprofit organizations, that are working on different steps. So if you look at the report, if you find something that catches your eye, you can know who is working on that and how you can pitch in and join them. You can even contact them directly from the report. Why is this important to me? Well, I think actually Susan said it best, and I'll amplify her words. There are so many problems, and some of them are big and they're systemic. But making sure that people have food and can be fed feels like something concrete that I and we can do. I like food, maybe a little too much sometimes. And I don't think twice about going to a new restaurant or buying some exotic ingredient to make a new recipe. And it disturbs me, though, that there are people in Arlington, literally right across the street in our community, for whom that kind of thing is a luxury and is not doable. So I like to contribute through my work with AFAC and UCA. For those who don't know, AFAC is Arlington's largest food pantry, though it's not the only one. It serves about 2,700 families per week in 24 sites across the county. It provides nutritious supplemental groceries with the goal of freeing its clients' resources so that they can serve other needs. UUCA, this church, supports AFAC by providing volunteers to help with Saturday distribution at AFAC's headquarters in Shirlington every other month. AFAC is on the front lines of food insecurity, and its own experiences underline and reinforce the county's numbers. So for instance, AFAC served 6,586 families last year. That's right in line with the poverty line. And that's 16,000 individuals that AFAC helped. AFAC's numbers also show the problem is continuing. Last year, they had a total of 140,000 family visits. That's an increase of almost 30%. And the number that knocked my socks off, by the way, is to know that AFAC purchases about 60% of their food. Last year, they budgeted $1.3 million to cover that need, and they still overspent it by $535,000. That's a 41% increase. The problem of food insecurity, even though we know it's here, is continuing, and it's real. If you have questions about AFAC or food insecurity or would just like to get involved, please stop by the table in Fellowship Hall. I'd be happy to connect you or add you to a distribution list so that you can participate in UUCA's volunteer activities with UUCA. But you can also volunteer directly with UUCA by simply going, with AFAC, by simply going to afac.org. And lastly, do check out that strategic plan. There are many people working on this issue and tackling food insecurity, tackling hunger head on, and you can be one of them. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pat Vindicolu, and I'd like to share one housing story with you. Do you love your home? I love mine. A condo off Columbia Pike on a shady, tree-lined street, walkable neighborhood, lots of amenities, and friendly neighbors. How did I get so lucky? It's tempting to tell myself that I worked hard, I made good decisions. Later in life, pretty late in my life, I acquired a more accurate understanding of my housing good fortune. Here are some excerpts from a letter I sent to the Arlington County Board. Before World War II, no one in my family owned any property, no one. We were low-income Irish people. My whole extended family rented in Philadelphia. When World War II broke out, all my uncles enlisted. And a year or two after the war, every one of my uncles was a homeowner in Philadelphia. All of this was due to the GI housing bill. And it wasn't until adulthood that I learned that most African American veterans were systematically shut out from the GI Bill. For example, in New York and the northern New Jersey suburbs, out of 67,000 mortgages insured by the GI Bill, fewer than 100 went to non-whites. But meanwhile, my family's generational wealth was getting started. We left Philly during a period of white flight and bought a bigger house across the Delaware River in Jersey. There were no black families in this new development, not one black child in our spanking new elementary school, and this was intentional. Fast forward to my young married life. After years abroad, my husband and I settled in Arlington. We had low-paying jobs, but we easily found affordable rental across the street in Buckingham. We wanted to participate in the American dream of owning a home. My parents had accumulated some wealth. They gave us money for a down payment. That house was in Glen Carlin, a neighborhood started as a summer haven for white families. At retirement, when it was time for me to downsize, the sale of that Arlington house, which had increased in value tenfold, allowed me to purchase a condo along the pike. In not one of these neighborhoods have I felt unwelcome. My white housing story is not unusual, yet it's easy for us to deny, forget, and remain in the dark about the system, how that system was designed to benefit some and hurt others. As many were building up generational wealth, Black families were encountering government-sanctioned policies like redlining, restrictive covenants, and predatory lending practices. And although these practices are no longer legal, the damage has been done. And we have segregated neighborhoods, and in my opinion, too many segregated schools in Arlington. Equally alarming, these past racist policies have hampered Black households from accumulating wealth. So that today, the average white family has 8 times the generational wealth of the average Black family. And today, it is rare for a family of color to be able to afford a single-family house in Arlington. The system was rigged from the start, first with slavery, then Jim Crow laws, then 90 years of exclusionary zoning, and many years of racist housing policies. But that was the past, right? Now is now. Let's move on. I really appreciate the writings of Ibram X. Kendi and others who claim that policy is rarely race neutral. A policy is either working towards racial equity and justice, or a policy is perpetuating inequities and injustice. And Kendi says, the defining question for the individual in any given moment is, am I upholding the structure of racism through my actions or inactions, or am I challenging it? So these given moments, I'd like you to know, are present in Arlington again and again. Ask voice leaders about the recent town hall in Claremont Presbyterian Church. Very, very fierce opposition to their vision of building affordable housing for seniors. I love my home, and I want everyone to have a home that's worthy of their love. The housing crisis is complex. It is more than past racist policies. But know that at the local level, there are opportunities to move this world towards justice. And to build a beloved community, I believe housing is a good place to start. Thank you.
We are here to help. You and I are here to make the world a better place. We want to help those who are worried about where their next meal is coming from. We want to help those who are worried about their access to reproductive rights. We want to help those who are desperately seeking their first own home. It sounds simple. It is multi-layered and complex, the number of problems in the world, but the simple piece is you being activated to do something to change the world. I want to leave you with a few words from Rosemary Bray McNatt. By no means are we Unitarian Universalists perfect. We fail as much as we succeed. Yet even when we've broken our vows 1,000 times, we return to this essential work of justice and liberation for all. We do that work best when we remember what church is and what it is not. Church is not a place to hide. It is not the place to get away from the world. It is not a place where we get to pretend that the lives we live and our particular situations are easy and soft as butter. No, church is the place where we stand shoulder to shoulder in those terribly complex, often confusing moments and say, pick me. I'll do this. I'll work to change the world. Church is the place where we look things in the eye, attempt to see clearly, and then go out and change them. Church is the place you come to gather strength that moves you from one individual stick to a bundle of sticks that are unbreakable. This place, this congregation, this collective of people working for justice and reproductive rights, working to end homelessness, working to feed people, is doing that work every single day. And we need you to help do some more. There's a social justice fair today. People have put a lot of energy into setting up their tables. They've got their game faces on. There's some swag out there. There's candy. But mostly what we want to do is lure you in to saying yes. Pick me. There's a multitude of opportunities where you can connect with others and go out and help change the world. If you go to the social justice fair, there is a passport. If you take that passport and go to every single table and get your stamp, your sticker, or your signature, you then go to the swag bag table and you get something to take home. Please do it. Please find out ways that you can help. And please eat some of that candy, otherwise I'll take it home. And I don't need all that candy in my house. I don't want to end so much with a smile and a joke, but with you feeling like you can go out and do something to change the world. I'll close with a single quote from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Amen.
I'd like to warmly invite you all to rise in body or spirit as the sanctuary singers come to join me up front to help me lead this closing song, When the Spirit Says Do. We're going to do this slightly different than it's printed in the hymnal, more in the style of the original Freedom Singers who wrote the song and who I had the distinct privilege and honor of helping to collaborate with on their 60th anniversary concert just a couple years ago. So it'll be easy to follow. I'll call out the changes in the words, and I invite you to join in singing. Sing. gotta do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do.
Please join me with the words printed in your order of service. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light and warmth it represents. These we carry with us, bringing our sparks of love to the world.
No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make the world different. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice, to hold someone and love them. May we each leave this place knowing we are kind, we are strong, we are loved, we are connected. And every single day, may you act that way just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Go into your week knowing that peace and justice belong to you and that it's your job to spread them. Amen.
In the spirit of trying new things in community together, I invite you to rise one more time in body or spirit and join in this closing benediction. We're going to be trying in this year some new type of hymn singing, new styles, new things that aren't in the hymnal, so no better time to start than right now. So this will be the indication that I am going to lead you in song. This is the invitation to join us together. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Sing. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot, and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Just look ahead. The path is there. Here we go. You gotta put one foot, and lead with love. Put one foot, and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you and you and you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. What do we have to do? And lead with love. And lead with love. Amen. Have a great week, everyone.